Welcome, Mimi. I'm so excited to sit down with you today.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I'm so excited for this conversation.
You are someone that I've followed very closely over the years, and I just feel like something about your energy. I mean, there's so many things, but you've been such an expander to me, even from afar when I didn't know much about you or know your story or follow you like super closely. I was always like, I want to know what she's doing because there's something you can almost just tell when someone is like doing the work and manifesting, and there's just a different kind of like glow and energy to them. You know what I mean?
That honestly just made my day. Thank you. Thank you so much. I know what you mean because I see it in other people as well, and you definitely give that glow as well, by the way.
Thank
I
you.
yeah, it really does. You can tell when someone's actually practicing what they preach, and that's why I spend a lot of time offline as well because that helps me continue doing what I know I need to be doing and unnumb myself because I feel like social media can be very numbing sometimes.
I'm actually curious what that looks like for you. And did you take like a big social break at some point?
Yeah, I did 8 months off last year. It was
Wow.
crazy. I honestly, and I'm teetering with the idea again. I was off for 2 months. I got married a couple months ago, and for a month before that, I was like, I'm not going online just because I feel so much more clear minded and so much more alive when I don't have Instagram on my phone. I'm not that big
Mm,
on TikTok, so I don't really scroll on there as much, but I'm a busy person. It's not like I'm sitting and scrolling all day, but it's those little moments where in between meetings, if I just want to like check something, I just feel like it numbs my brain. So I do try to have some limits, even though I love connecting with people on social media. I love the good parts of it. The bad parts of it, it's too addictive and it just fries my brain. So I try to kind of go in and out.
I totally get that. I feel myself doing it. I think on the days where my mental health is not as good, there is a drastic increase in my phone usage time.
Yes.
You know, like the app will flag on your iPhone and
Yes.
be like, "Hey, you've like used your phone for 8 hours today," and it's like, that's not good. But there is a numbing that occurs where you're just kind of like, and by the way, sometimes I reward myself with that. If I haven't had it all day, it's almost like a little treat. Like I'm gonna lay in bed and just scroll aimlessly for 30 minutes, and
It
sometimes you just
feels
need
good.
that.
I know. It feels good sometimes.
It feels good, and by the way, time flies. That's the other
Yeah.
crazy part. It
Yeah.
flies.
I have a theory that when you do activities that numb you, time goes by very quickly. So whether that's binge watching TV, doom scrolling, drinking alcohol, partying, like whatever those things are that numb you, that makes time go by very quickly. But then when you do things that are the opposite of numbing, I say it's being alive, like doing things that create aliveness inside of you, those things actually slow down time, like having beautiful, deep conversations. I don't know, painting or whatever creative outlet you have, listening to music and going on a long walk, listening to activations, like whatever positive thing that you can do, and that's something that makes you present and really feel life and aliveness. That's the opposite of numbness. So obviously, we're human beings. We're not always going to be perfect in doing things that make us feel great. But the more that we can limit those numbing activities, overeating, over drinking, you know, over scrolling, too much technology, whatever that looks like, if we can just reduce that, we will feel more alive in return.
It's so interesting. The overconsumption is so real, and I also feel like in a weird way, we both want time to speed up and slow down simultaneously. And we've almost been trained to want it to feel fast. But then all of a sudden, 5 years goes by. Like, I think about how much time it's been even since COVID. That's like always my milestone. And it's like what I would give for the years to slow down. So we're speeding it up, even though we deep down want it to slow down. And it's a matter of switching into what feels less comfortable, which is those slow down moments, whether it's an activation or a meditation or a walk or whatever it is, to just sort of be in that moment, which so many of us avoid without even really realizing.
I think we avoid it because we're not connected to our mortality. And yeah, it sounds grim, but you really need to think about short of how little time we have on this planet. Okay, if we're lucky, we get 80 years, if we're lucky. And I don't know about you, but that thought actually scares me more than anything else. The thought of reaching the end of my life and looking back with regret, looking back thinking, where did those years go? Why was I like scrolling all day long or working all day and coming home and rotting in front of the TV and just numbing out and trying to waste my life? Like that would literally be hell on earth for me, realizing that.
Same.
That motivates me though. And it's good to connect
Yes.
with our mortality because it reminds us that life is so precious. Tomorrow is not promised. We need to start tuning into our potential, feeling unlimited, feeling alive, and truly just stepping into this full life. Don't you want to squeeze every ounce out of life? Like everyone feels that way. We just have to remember.
Yeah, it's if our mortality and the way that life is going so quickly and being on the deathbed and having regrets about the way you live doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will. Like, I think we almost need a reminder of that every day. Because even as we're saying this now, I'm like, wow, how it sounds cheesy, but like, how lucky are we to just even be sitting here and doing this?
Mm,
Or the listener, how lucky are you to be on a walk listening to a podcast right now and not really having to actively worry about anything? You know, we all have life and things going on, but yeah, it's a really good reminder about the numbing.
yeah, your
So,
life is not a dress rehearsal. I always tell myself that.
yeah, just be. So, I want to dive into sort of your transformation because I know that when I speak about this, you know, with kind of my own 180 that I've done across love and career and health and those things, it really speaks to people. And I feel like so many of my listeners are, you know, either looking to make a change or they're in a transformation right now or maybe going through a breakup or something like that. And I've seen on Instagram how the life that you are currently living and how full and vibrant you are. But I also know from your content that that wasn't always the case. You talk about how you were 20 pounds heavier, you were using drugs, you had $8 in your bank account. And I feel like so many people probably see you. You just got married, you have this booming business, and maybe they think that that's unattainable. So, can you speak a little bit to the sort of like Mimi 1.0 and how you got to this new version?
Yes, absolutely. I was in a place about 10 years ago. I was in a place that I hated. I was not happy or fulfilled in any area of my life mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, socially. Those 5 areas, I write about them in my book, Activate Your Future Self, that just came out earlier this year. Those are the 5 pillars of your life. I felt like a 0 to 3 out of 10 in all of those pillars. You know, mentally, I was absolutely anxious and depressed. I had the lowest self worth and confidence out of anyone I met. I was incredibly self conscious. Okay. I hated myself. I was low every day. I'd wake up with dread. Physically, like you mentioned, I've created a new body for myself. I lost weight. I truly have stepped into a body that I feel is my ultimate self body, but in a way where I'm not extreme dieting. I'm intuitive eating. I eat whatever I want. I don't think about food all day because that's the real transformation. Because back then I also struggled with a lot of disordered eating. I'd be on these crash diets and then I'd binge and then I'd make myself throw up and then blah, like it was just a really disgusting, awful cycle. So I didn't know that I could reach a point where I could just effortlessly live in this body. So it feels like magic. I used to be the type of person that would like hate when people said that they, wouldn't think about dinner till it was dinner time. I was like, who is that? Like, how do you live?
I totally know what you mean.
Yeah. So that was a massive transformation. Financially is one that is honestly pretty shocking to me to this day. Um, I went from crazy financial insecurity. I grew up in a household. I love my parents, but bless them, they are artists and they struggled my entire childhood. Mortgages, like remortgaging the house, bankruptcies, constantly fighting about money, a lot of hardship around the financial topics in my household. So I was so determined to create a different life for myself, and my financial transformation is very shocking. It doesn't even feel real when I think about it. Yeah, I went from under $10 in my bank account and working like so many different jobs, dog walking, babysitting, like working my job during the day, like just trying to make my entrepreneurial venture at the time a success. And I can honestly say that I've reached my future self potential, I feel today. With a net worth in the tens of millions, it feels kind of crazy to say. Yeah, and then spiritual, I feel more connected to myself than ever before. I feel more connected to source. I don't know what to call it exactly. Kind of in between figuring out exactly what I believe in, but I feel very connected to whatever it is, that's for sure. And socially and relationship wise, I'm now married to the love of my life. I have the most beautiful friendships. I feel fulfilled in every area. I'm incredibly close with my family, with my sister and my friends. Everything is good. And I'm living a life where everything is good. And I have it all at the same time right now, which is crazy because that was a limiting belief. Everyone used to always tell me, you can't have it all. I'm like, why not? I want to have it all. Yes, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to have it all. I want to live a life that feels amazing and that, makes me feel just incredible every day. So, yeah, long story short, I transformed every single area, and the work of personal development that I've done on myself, I've been able to really figure out what works and what doesn't. I like a shortcut. I don't like doing things the hard way. So I have figured out a very unique approach to transformation that I'm happy to talk about in today's episode. It's what I teach. It's what my book's about. It's what activations is about. It is all about simplifying personal development, transformation, self-transformation, and really making it an enjoyable process that is attainable. And trust me, if I can do all of those things, so can anyone listening. There is nothing special about me. I just did what worked, and I really figured out what that was, and I honed in on that. So, yeah, that's my story.
That's incredible and so expansive for anyone listening to hear. Even myself, I'm like, wow, I want to do what you're doing. So I know that there was a period of time that you went through where you kind of felt like you had tried it all. For the listener that is in that phase, and is trying all the different things, like I feel like so many of us sensitive women who tend to be my exact listener, and I'm sure you are one too, we want so badly to feel good and to have the life that we envision for ourselves. And there can also be sort of this desperation attached to it. And I can personally relate to that a lot of like, when I was in my chronic pain healing journey, it was like all I could think about was feeling better. And actually, it ended up kind of being to my detriment because you're almost like manifesting more pain and control and, that sort of like negative cycle. So, can you just share a little bit more about what you tried and like maybe even what didn't work as you were sort of on this personal development journey?
100%. And listen, when you first get into this work, everything feels so complicated. Every single expert or author or teacher is telling you to do this crazy big long list of things you need to do every
Yes.
day. And it's just so overwhelming. And I was very overwhelmed at the beginning too. And I was listening to other people, not my own intuition, okay, when I started this work.
Mm.
So I was trying to do all the things, doing the 5 a.m. morning routine, being super strict on myself with all these things, spending hours a day on my personal development. But I wasn't actually changing a lot in my life. I was doing that for the first 1 to 2 years of my journey. I was doing all the things, I was trying to do all the things. I was really struggling with certain things that people would tell me to do. For example, meditation, I just like couldn't stick to. I also just didn't understand how something that was designed to calm my mind and nervous system and help me clear my thoughts. I didn't understand how that was going to help me radically transform these areas that I was desperate to change. I get it if it's like relax your body, like meditation's great. I have nothing against it, but I didn't understand how that was going to help me transform every aspect of my life. So I would always add that to my to-do list and then feel shame and guilt when I didn't check it off because I just like didn't want to do it. I didn't like doing it. It was boring. I didn't feel excited to do it. I needed something, a practice that reminded me with energy, with passion, with invigoration. It reminded me to be my future self in that moment. And meditation was not doing it for me. So, anyway, The first 2 years of my journey was me trying to do everything that other people were telling me to do. And if you think about it like a graph, the first 2 years, the growth was very, very slow. I was improving a little bit, like I felt, a little better for sure, but I wasn't seeing numbers in my bank account grow. I wasn't seeing my weight loss and my health journey improve much. It was at these ups and downs constantly.
Mhm.
And then something shifted. 2 years in, I was reading about neuroscience. I'm really interested in the brain and how we actually can change. And I'm really interested in self image psychology and visualization. So I was reading a book about that. And I thought to myself, okay, how do I actually apply this? Like, I get it's transformative for your mind, but how do I do this? So I intuitively started listening to myself for once. And I took out my phone and I recorded a voice memo to myself, essentially going through how it feels to be my future self, what it's like to live her life now. And then I listened to this and I thought, okay, this is good, but I need something to really garner that feeling inside. So then I put that voice memo in my GarageBand on my computer, and then I layered in all this cinematic movie moment music from YouTube. And then I was like, okay, you know what? This is giving me that feeling that I want to feel. This is helping me visualize with my body, physically feeling like I'm in my future now. So that was actually the first activation. I didn't realize it at the time, but that moment in my 200 square foot studio apartment was going to change the rest of my life and it was going to fulfill all of my dreams. I didn't realize it at the time. So I just really was intuitive and I started creating these activations for myself, and I get bored of them quickly. So I just spend hours. This was like my hobby, creating these audios for myself. And then here's the kicker. I wouldn't listen to these like a meditation because it wasn't meditation. I'd listen to these in everyday moments while I was doing the dishes, while I was getting ready for the day, while I was on the bus going to work, while I was walking, whatever it was. I was listening. I remember doing dog walking as like a side gig to try to make an extra $20, and I was listening to these walking activations, feeling
Mm.
like I was wealthy, feeling like I was unlimited, feeling like my business was going to be a success, or feeling like I was going to achieve all these things. I was going to be a millionaire. I was going to be in the body of my dreams. I was going to find the love I deserved. I would feel that and flood my brain and body with these thoughts and emotions, with these activations. And it was like, if we go back to the graph visual, it was like a bell curve. It was like the first 2 years, it was very slow growth. And then the moment I started listening to these activations, it was like this insane bell curve. And the line went shooting straight up. The growth that I experienced was astronomical. Okay.
Wow.
And then years later, I decided to create an app called Activations and create, these audios for everyone else. And now we have over 800 audios on the app and tens of thousands of people using it every single day and over 100,000 success stories. And it's just crazy because this new type of audio, it's like filling a gap for so many people that felt just like me. And I can dive into the science as to how this actually transforms you so quickly, like why it works so effectively. But yeah, that was the story.
Wow. Okay, so much to unpack here. I feel like as you were sharing all of that with me, it was like I just took a shot of espresso. Like I can I feel like I just picked up your energy. You know what I mean? Because I can feel how real and how exciting this is. And I've personally experienced like, I've been doing your activations, which we'll get into because I really want to talk about that. But I love the story about how it came about because I did something similar probably like 3 years ago. I saw a hypnotherapist and she had me write down my dream day. And then she recorded it in her voice with music. And she was like, I want you to put this in your headphones every night and sleep with it in your ears. When I tell you, Mimi, that that exact dream day that I had years ago, I am living every single morning down to the specifics of sitting in a breakfast nook and having my morning smoothie. I don't know where I dreamed up this breakfast nook, but my fiance has one that he just had built into his dining room before I even knew him or moved in. And So I'm here to say that this work really works. And I think it's so cool that you were able to build it out of your own need, harness this very specific thing that I also think, as someone who struggles to meditate, is really special. Because I don't feel like we all need to be sitting, pushing through a meditation and like muscling through to check it off the list. And I'm actually feeling a lot lighter hearing you say that because I'm on this meditation streak right now. I'm on like day 225 of not missing a single day. That said, I'm still struggling every day to do the meditation. And I'm trying to also learn to be more fluid with myself and be like, that can come in a different form. It doesn't have to mean sitting still doing TM. Like, that doesn't work for my personality type. It just doesn't. And so I think it's a really cool alternative to meditation that, as you've experienced, as I've experienced, can have such a profound impact on your reality, which is what's really freaking cool.
Yeah, and the truth is that we have so many of our users that meditate and activate. It's not even
Mm,
necessarily a replacement. If you're going to keep your meditation to calm your mind before bed or whatever it is, that's great. Keep doing that. But there are just two completely different use cases. You
mhm.
meditate to calm your mind and body and calm your nervous system. You activate to transform your life. You activate to achieve new goals. You activate to become your future self. You meditate to clear your head. You activate to transform. So, and you also listen to them in two completely different settings. You have to carve out 20 minutes out of your day to meditate or 10 minutes or whatever it is. And you need to fully just be focused on doing that for that time. But with activations, you habit stack it. You don't have to carve out any time in your day. You just got to pop in your headphones and listen to a walking activation when you're walking the dog in the morning. You just need to, throw on a getting ready activation when you're showering and putting your makeup on in the morning. That's all you need to do. You don't need to actually add something new. We're all so busy, and I feel like this really hones in on my ethos of simplifying transformation. I don't want to have a 10-step morning routine. I don't have time. I'm very busy. We all don't have time to do these things sometimes, right? So
Mhm.
I'm realistic about it. I also enjoy doing things I enjoy doing. I actually don't like doing things I don't like doing. So kudos to
No, of
you.
course.
You have a lot of discipline. Um, I don't think I don't like doing what I don't like doing. But good for you, because I think continue it if you're on this streak. Like, you're obviously a very disciplined person.
I'm on the streak and it's feeling good, but I am interested in making it feel really good. Like
Yeah.
I recently came across this thing on Instagram that I won't shut up about that is about um like up-regulating and down-regulating your nervous system. And this person was saying if you're someone whose brain is absolutely racing, one of the worst things you can do is sit down and try to meditate. And they were like, what you need to do is, because the anxiety is just energy, you need to jump up and down, you need to turn on a song, you need to dance, you need to like literally shake and yell and like get it out of your body before you try to sit down and down regulate. And that has been a game changer to me because I've literally just been listening to a song in the morning and like dancing to it before I sit down, and I'm like, wow, I'm so much more quiet. So I love that these activations can be done as you're doing things. I personally have been using them on my walks. So this morning I was walking to a workout class and I turned on the one that's like envision your healthiest self. And I also love that it rolls into the next one. So you're
Yeah.
not like having to stop and think about it. Like all of a sudden I was listening to like attracting more money and I was like, this is great. Like I want health and money. Um it's really cool that you can, like you said, habit stack it and do it as you are doing something that you would have already been doing in your day because we really don't need, and I feel like in wellness and health and like woo woo space, things can get really it can become a lot. All of a sudden it can become very overwhelming when you're like, okay, I have to read this book and do this thing and that, and it's just like then you end up getting the fuckets and doing nothing. So I love that this is something you can just tack on to an activity that you're already doing. So for the person that doesn't understand the neuroscience of how this is actually working, can you explain a little bit further for that kind of brain?
100%. Well, there are many things I can talk about here, but I will piggyback off of how you just mentioned activations are designed to be listened to in these everyday moments, like walking, for example. We have over 16 categories on the app, from walking, cooking, cleaning, getting ready, skincare, working out, like legs up wall. We have every type of activation on there. So the science behind why that is actually more effective at transforming an area of your life than the sitting and closing your eyes counterpart is because activations, unlike meditation, take advantage of classical conditioning. You know, Pavlov's dog thing, where Pavlov rings the bell, the dog salivates. The exact same thing happens when you listen to an activation, when you are pairing new thoughts and beliefs with an everyday action that you repeatedly do without even realizing it. That is
Hmm.
where real change happens. You're taking advantage of classical conditioning without even realizing it when you listen to activations. So that is why it is so deeply effective and it transforms you quickly, because even if you just listen to a 10-minute walking activation, like for example, I wrote this one down because I listened to it the other day. It was like, feel like that girl today. And I'm pretty sure it's a
Love.
walking one or like an anytime one, but I always kind of like
Yes.
interchange them. So I listened to that one yesterday. If you just listen to feel like that girl today for your 10-minute morning walk where you're bringing the dog out to pee or whatever it is, if you just do that like 5 days in a row, even, you have already reconditioned your mind to pair your morning walk with these new thoughts of feeling unlimited, feeling like confident and beautiful and clear minded and just unlimited, right? So if you do that, you don't even need the activation after a certain point to feel like you're walking with this certain energy about yourself, feeling like your future self now. And it's like crazy because it actually doesn't require a lot of hard work to do. This is something you habit stack. This is something that genuinely acts like a subliminal as well. You don't even need to listen to the words with depth. You just have to have it on, just press play. And it feels good to listen to as well. We have the most incredible composers and audio engineers that create a lot of the music for the app. Of course, we have the voice side of things, which is guided, more conversational, guided visualizations, pep talks. Certain categories have just affirmations. Most of them is this guided visualization, positive talk type of guidance. And then 50% of the activation is actually the music component. Movie moment cinematic music. It is so powerful to make you feel alive. It is so powerful to make you feel like you are on the cusp of a new life. You are on your way to a better life. You are transforming actively in this moment. So we use composers that genuinely create music for TV shows and big movies. And they essentially know how to create music that instructs you how to feel. So, just like how in a scary movie, you're going to have certain music that makes your body
Mm.
feel scared. Just like how in an inspiring moment in the movie, when the main character finally gets the guy and she gets the job and whatever it is, like that is the energy that we inject into every activation. You are the main character. You are the one that is, building this amazing life for yourself. You just need to believe it. You just need to embody it. You just need to remind yourself that you're on that path. And that's exactly what activations do.
Yeah, I love the idea that, and tell me if I'm regurgitating this correctly, but you basically, let's say your morning walk, you're listening to an activation, you then essentially start to associate that becoming her or your healthiest self or whatever activation it is that you're listening to with that walk. So I can assume, Mimi, that as you're walking around throughout the day, you're emulating that future self energy, not just because you've already become your future self, as we can see, but like, I'm sure there are even more evolved versions of yourself that you are
Yeah,
envisioning.
for sure.
So are you just like channeling that energy all day? Does it ever turn off?
It's a great question. I'm definitely not my future self 100% of the day. And I always talk about how I've never had one perfect day. nor has anyone else on planet Earth. You could see the most beautiful supermodels on the cover of Vogue, whatever. They've never had one perfect day where they've woken up exactly at 5 a.m. They didn't procrastinate or have a negative thought all day. They ate organic and intermittent fasted and just thought of like, no, no one has. Perfection should not be the goal. It doesn't
Yeah.
exist. So why is that the goal? The goal should be a quick bounce back rate. And that's a term that I created years ago. The bounce back rate, it's all about how quickly you can bounce back to being your best self after falling off track. So to answer your question, Elizabeth, I've never had a day where I'm my future self 100% of the time. I love how I feel when I listen to activations. I love how I feel when I'm doing other things as well. Like I love a podcast. When I'm in the mood to learn about something, to hear a conversation, I'll listen to a podcast. When I'm in the mood to just tune out and feel a certain way, I'll put music on. And then I have a mood that, I'm sure everyone listening that has tried an activation knows this mood. It's like, okay, like I kind of want to like shift my energy. I want to feel excited about life and I want to feel alive. And that's the energy you have before you want to turn on an activation. So, what I'll do is I'll just tune in to my intuition and lean into what feels good. It's so simple. This work is simple. Lean into
Yeah.
what feels good. So, for example, this morning I took my dog on a walk and I spent the first half of the walk talking to my mom on the phone, catching up. And then I was like, okay, what do I do? I could just not listen to anything, or you know what? I'm going to listen to an activation. I feel like I could upgrade my energy a little bit. And then I listened to this activation. Oh my gosh, I've been obsessed with this activation. I need to find the name of it because it's in my
Please.
favorites.
Because I'm going to listen to it on my walk from the studio
It's a
afterwards.
new
So,
one. I'm telling you, because we release 3 to 5 new activations a week. My team is always hard at
cool.
work. We are like constantly releasing new content, so it's a new one. Okay, it's called Energetic Reset to Feel Alive and Manifest with Ease. And
Love.
I can't even tell you, Elizabeth, I felt like I had like shifted timelines or I had just entered a new reality. I don't even know what happened, but I listened to this and everything started looking different around me. It was like magical. Like the light was coming in. I felt so connected. I felt so alive. I felt so happy. I knew in that moment that my energy was like a magnet to everything I want. And I thought to myself,
Mm.
this is the exact thing that has brought me to the life I live today. And I enjoy doing it. This is why it is so effective because you do it. You enjoy doing it. It feels good. You feel that feeling of like listening to your favorite bridge of a song and like being at like a you feel that music does something to you and then mixed with these types of words, it is like crazy. So yeah, that one I would highly suggest anyone listening, if you take advantage of the 2 week free trial that we're offering your listeners, just go and listen to that one first. It is so good. The music is so good.
Incredible. And guys, if you do want the 2 week free trial, which I personally cannot endorse enough, you go to activations.com/TWP and you will get those 2 weeks free and you will be hooked like I am. I can pretty much promise you. Okay, so obviously manifestation has become this like buzzword in the last couple of years. It's become a trend. I want to kind of go beyond that trend and talk about the concept of limiting beliefs. I know you talk a lot in your book about getting very clear. Can you sort of walk through the different steps to
Yes.
manifestation?
Yes. So I will say I use the word manifestation, but I don't know if the listeners have figured it out by this point, but I'm not some crazy woo woo, teacher. I don't believe that when you think something, snap, it appears right in front of you. I really
Yeah.
look at the pragmatic side of spirituality and manifestation. Everything has to be science backed, and in my book we have so many references and studies that prove everything in that book. So to answer your question, I've really dialed down everything into being a 2-step simple formula. Any area of your life that you want to transform, you can transform it without a doubt if you do these 2 things. The first step is clarity. You must first get crystal clear on the vision you have for the future that you desire. Your future self. I use the term future self a lot. You can be your future self now. It's not something that just lives in the future. I am my future self right now. Your future self is synonymous with your best self, your favorite self. So you need to first get very clear on who your future self is and what she does every day, how she acts, her posture, how she dresses, how she speaks. Most importantly, you need to get crystal clear on how it feels in your body to be her now. How would it feel? What frequency, energy, personality, like what is it? What does it feel to be her now? That's number one. And then step number two, once you have the clarity down pat and you know how your future feels and the version of you that you want to be, step two is becoming. You need to be her now in everyday moments, especially the mundane, repeated activities that you do every day, because then you take advantage of classical conditioning. You're rewiring your brain. You are rewiring the RAS in your brain, the reticular activating system we all have in all of our brains. It's the filtration system that we have because our brains would literally explode if we didn't have the RAS. It is a good thing we have it, but it is programmed by our thoughts and our beliefs. So guess what happens if your RAS is programmed by your negative limiting beliefs of I'm a victim, nothing good ever happens to me, I'm a failure, I'll never be wealthy. Then you're going to start seeing reasons everywhere to prove why that is a fact. But the same thing happens when you begin flooding your mind and being, your future self with her new thoughts and her new beliefs. You literally start to see opportunities everywhere. You see reasons why, yes, it is going to be you. You see reasons why it was always meant to be you. You were destined for this life. You meet someone and you think of an opportunity that you wouldn't have thought of before to work with them, to have a new job or whatever it is, because your RAS is programmed now to see reasons why you are this future self. So, step one is clarity. Step two is becoming. You need to become her in every moment. You need to remind yourself to be her now. I say those three words to myself all the time. It's simple. It's not hard. It's so easy. It's so easy. It's like flipping a switch. It's so, don't tell yourself it's hard. It actually isn't. It is simple. And once you know to continue doing this two-step process over and over again, it is a matter of time, because the more that you become her and act like you're a method actress, or act as if you are her in these everyday moments, the more you familiarize yourself with her energy, the closer you get to the life that you want to live. And it's not magic. It's science. It's because you start showing up like her. It's because you'll inevitably start thinking like her. You are rewiring your mind. It's like, think about it this way. You have a big paved path, okay? These are the thoughts you think every day, maybe limiting beliefs. And you've been taking this big paved path every day for the past 10 years, okay? Think about your future self mind, belief system, thoughts as a bunny trail. Just on the side of the road, there's a little bunny trail that you could take instead of the big paved path. So every time you listen to an activation and you choose to think differently, you are literally taking the bunny trail and you are rewiring your brain. Our brains are malleable. We can change our brains. And the more you take this bunny path, the more that bunny path becomes its own big paved road. And soon enough, the original paved road has trees that have grown there and cobwebs, and you can't really take it anymore. So that is how change happens. And it is your brain. You can change your personality. You can change your self-image. You can change your brain. You can change your identity. And all of this work, all of my work, is rooted in self-image psychology. Activations are designed to reprogram your self-image to align with the most wealthy, happy, healthy version of yourself.
Okay, I love that you brought that up because it was the next thing I wanted to ask you about. And I've personally experienced this in my own sort of journey with this type of work. Self-image is really the gateway to manifesting your dream life. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's everything, because it is the core of it all. It makes everything else easy. Once you hack the self-image, you change everything. It makes doing the thing easier. It makes taking on that new habit way more effortless. Think about it like the core of an onion. The core of the onion is the self-image. All the layers on top of that are things like your habits, your thoughts, your beliefs. And it's really hard to just change one layer. That's why some people say, oh, I'm going to wake up and go on a run because I'm going to be healthy starting Monday. And then they don't do it. It's because their self image hasn't changed. And then they just feel shame and guilt. And that is why you're not doing the things you want to do. It's because your self image has not aligned with the version of you that has it. It's so simple.
Yeah, and I think that there is a certain level of magnetism that gets created when you have a very high self image. I can feel it with myself, with brand partnerships, with people inviting me on their podcast, even just in like a social setting and feeling people gravitating towards me or just having more conversation. I think that there's an energy to someone having a high self worth that we are all attracted to because at the end of the day, that's what we all want, even if we don't realize it, is to really feel good in our skin and our body and our personality. I'm curious because, we're all not perfect, and I'm certainly not. What do you do when you have a not at so good self image day?
It happens all the time. So I will tell you the first thing that will make me feel radically different is what we spoke about earlier on in the conversation, turning off my phone, getting off social media, stop numbing, just stop numbing,
Yep.
you know? And I won't lie, every day there's a moment where I'm like, I don't feel great. Okay, wait. I can choose to do something right now that can take me out of that, right? And even this morning I woke up, I was so tired because my cousin came over last night. We went to bed really late and I woke up and I had to run to my Pilates class and I just like slept in. I didn't have time to like take a beat for myself and I felt
Mhm.
puffy. I'm like that stage of my cycle. And yeah, for the first few hours of the morning, I was not feeling like my best self. But then when I went on my walk, I was like, okay, you know what? 10 minutes. I'm just going to pop on an activation. And I decided to just take that one step and press play. That was the hardest part of it all, pressing play.
Totally.
And then listening to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm living my dream life. I'm so happy. All these great things are on their way to me. I'm like thriving. I'm a magnet to everything I desire. It was like night and day. It was crazy. So, the worst thing that I've noticed I can do is like hone in on this negative mood. Because
Yeah.
those days that I just like relish in it, it just doesn't improve. But the days where I lighten up and I'm like, it's not hard to feel different. What am I thinking? And then I just choose to like pop an activation on or, turn my phone off and make it not that big of a deal. That's when I feel really different. And this is coming from someone who always has to choose. Again, I never have had a perfect day ever. Every day, I have to remind myself of who I want to be.
Yeah. It's a daily choice to choose to turn it around. And I was just writing about this on Instagram. I'm like, your day and the way that you show up and your energy is entirely up to you and your responsibility, which could feel very scary and negative to some people, or you could view it as a total opportunity. Like it is a blank canvas. We will all have our ups and downs for sure. But I think that that rewiring you were speaking to and taking the bunny trail is okay, I'm going to feel shitty some days. I can't expect perfection, but I then have a choice. And sometimes it is so hard to push through that choice and choose yourself, even though everything feels frustrating and everyone feels annoying and you feel tired and puffy and all the things. But as soon as you hit the button and you decide to either turn off your phone, turn on an activation, go on a walk, choose yourself, that is where like the rewiring happens. And that is one step closer to that future you than you would have been if you sat in bed and doom scrolled instead, because that's rewiring the old pattern and it's just making it even more sturdy.
Exactly. And remember in that moment that it's all about your bounce back rate. It's not about being perfect. So if you find yourself, doom scrolling and it's like 9 a.m. and you're still in bed and you have to get up and go to work or whatever it is, it's just about reminding yourself it's about how quickly you can bounce back. It's not about whether or not you are perfect. The moment you realize you fell off
Mm.
track, just get up. Don't make a big deal about it. Don't dwell on it. Don't wait till Monday to restart and be perfect. Don't wait till January 1st. Don't wait to have this perfect setup to start fresh, to finally have a blank slate. No, it doesn't work that way. You're never going to find success if you have that mentality. And that mentality comes from being a perfectionist. And I write about this in my book. In my book, I have three sections. The first section is clarity, the second section is becoming, and the third section is maintaining, right? So, maintaining is all about the bounce back rate and how it's actually quite a perfectionistic attribute to want to wait till like the first or the next day to start fresh. We're addicted to, a clean slate. As humans, we have this penchant for a clean slate,
Mhm.
and that actually holds us back more than anything else because all it takes is just lightening up and just shifting and just choosing to not make it that big of a deal about it and bounce back.
I actually think that the clean slate thing, and I totally have been there and waited till Jan 1 to like
Oh, yeah.
start the new me. It's just resistance and it's avoidant, wrapped in a perfectionistic bow.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because it's only putting it off and it's only you turning away from an opportunity to rewire in that moment when things are feeling so sticky.
Yeah.
And I really feel like doing something like an activation on a day where you already feel good is great, but where the real magic happens is when you're doing it on that day where you are dragging your feet, running to your workout, you don't want to be there, you're getting emails, somebody pissed you off. That's when I think the real magic happens.
It also just helps you reduce the amount of bad days you have. Like, we have so many user testimonials that come in. We have this Slack channel called Customer Love, and every day we have like dozens of messages from our social team, our customer service team, like sending screenshots of people writing in because we have a lot of users and they're feeling different every day and they're always telling us, oh my gosh, this new activation changed my life, or oh my gosh, I forgot about this one, but it's like so good. Anyway, we have a lot of data on that, right? And a lot of people have mentioned that they've noticed that just by listening to like a 2 minute activation, because we have this whole pep talk category that's like 2 minute long activations. A lot of people have mentioned just listening to like a short one in the morning will just set the tone for their entire day, and they've had less of these quote bad days. And we actually specifically have one user that wrote in a week ago, and she said that all she's been doing since she's been doing the 2 week free trial, all she's been doing is a 2 minute pep talk every morning when she brushes her teeth. She starts brushing her teeth, she pops on
Oh.
the pep talk, and then when the pep talk's done, she'll stop brushing her teeth. Like, it's like her 2 minute timer. And she said that's the only way that she has used the app in her 2 week free trial. And the difference that she has felt in those 14 days has been astronomical. She wrote into us like, I don't even understand how 2 minutes of this just habit stacking, brushing my teeth could change my life. But she had a meeting with her boss and like got the raise that she wanted because she felt more confident. And she didn't like think
Mhm.
she would get the raise, but they gave her more money than she thought she could get. And then with her relationship that was honestly on, a rocky ground, her and her boyfriend, she wrote in how they weren't doing that great. But, over the 14 days, like, it's this gradual but very significant change that she's seen in them, and they've been communicating way better. And then like she's been just sticking to her health goals, and she kind of looked back after this 2 week period and she was just like, I feel so different just from 2 minutes of this a day. It doesn't have to
Wow.
be this like laborious big thing on your calendar to transform next Monday. It's like it's really about those micro moments, and if you can habit stack them, it makes it inevitable. You're gonna feel different.
Yeah, I think it really speaks to this idea that more isn't always more, that
Yeah.
you can do something that actually feels good and easeful and have it make even more of a
Yeah.
change. This idea that we don't need to muscle through the hard habits. And I also just think that, and something that I've really uncovered recently, is how impactful those first moments in your morning are to setting the tone for your entire day, because that is when you have the choice. I sleep with my phone outside of the bedroom because what I don't need to do is start doom scrolling first thing in the morning. And if it's even next to me as my alarm, I will look. Like there will be a text or an email. You just
Yeah.
don't need that. And so, even just turning on a 2 minute activation while you're brushing your teeth, like that actually has the power to change the conversation with your boss, change the conversation with your husband, make you a more patient parent. It's really incredible, and I would urge people to do the 2 week trial and really give this a try because I have been blown away by how much just a few minutes, the way that that will go. Um, so, Mimi, I wanted to ask you because I know that so many listeners really admire you, and you are, like I said, such a vibrant, vital being, and we all want to emulate what you're up to. So, obviously, we know you're doing Pilates, we know you're doing activations. What are some other wellness habits, whether it's food or skincare or whatever it may be, that you like to incorporate throughout your week to help you feel your best?
Great question. I love all the things. Actually, over the past year, so I got married in July. It's September now. Last September, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to, tone up a little bit before my wedding, maybe lose 5, 10 pounds, maybe. I was already happy with how I looked, but I thought to myself, okay, like, why don't I just slowly see if I can rewire my self image a little bit? We had
Mm-hmm.
actually just released an activation called Let Yourself Lose Weight, and it's 3 minutes long. This was last September. So I just started listening to that activation, 2, 3, 4 times a week and not changing anything else. But I realized this past spring, so months later, that I had like lost like 8 pounds. And I was like, wait a minute. And
Wow.
I just had brought that into my routine. And obviously, I was doing different things, but not really realizing it because it was more subconscious. Like maybe I wouldn't have like eaten as much, portion wise, or maybe I would have decided to go outside and go on a walk more. But it's like this activation really transformed me in that sense. So
Mm.
um, that was actually one of the big things. And then losing those last 5, 10 pounds has actually really helped balance my hormones. I was struggling last year with a little bit of acne and like unbalanced hormones. I had light PCOS and yeah, so I think like just that was really good for my health to just release a little bit of that extra weight, and it's been really amazing for my hormone health and my skin. So that was really interesting because at the beginning of my journey, 8 years ago, that's when I had lost the 20 pounds. And I was happy with how I was, looking at everything. But I thought to myself, okay, I think I could, tone up just a little bit before the wedding. There's nothing wrong with that. So
Mhm.
that was a big one. I have had a big kind of hormone journey, and that's really helped my skin. I can tell you what skincare I use, but to be honest with you, my skin was not great last year and the skincare wasn't doing anything. It was the internal hormonal shifts that I had to change. So, a supplement that I've been using that I've been loving is inositol. There's this Theralogics brand, not sponsored, like genuinely. Just go on Reddit and look at inositol Theralogics or whatever for PCOS. I don't know if anyone listening has that, but I had very light PCOS. And
Mhm.
this inositol thing like really helped me. So that I take like fish oils and a few other little supplements like that. But genuinely, I do reformer Pilates when I'm in London. I have a home in London, and then I'm heading back to the Bahamas this week. I live there most of the year, so I'll probably
Cool.
do like personal trainer there or just Pilates at home, to be honest with you. So I like that. I do walks every day. And yeah, I think the biggest thing is the internal because I can tell you the skincare. I use Jan Marini, and I know a lot of people in LA use Jan Marini. It is a bit harsh though, so I'm thinking of potentially trying to conceive in the next 6 months. So I'm gonna try to get on to more natural skincare. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, other than that, I don't even get facials that often anymore. I feel like I do stuff at home, a lot of Korean sheet masks, and just eating vegetables every day, trying to have something green every day. It's not always perfectly easy, especially being in London and like having so much Uber Eats because in the Bahamas we don't have Uber Eats. So my husband and I,
Oh,
we've
totally.
just been Uber Eating a bit too much. But yeah, that's basically it, and that's what makes me feel my best. I also think intermittent fasting is really powerful. So I don't do that all the time. I do track my cycle, and sometimes I'll do that, but nothing
Mhm.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it only makes the messaging more clear that there is no substitute for that inner glow. You can do all the skincare, and obviously we want to work out and move our bodies and eat clean, and that also comes with just having a high self-image and that level of self-respect that you have where you're like, this is my temple and I want to take care of this. It is all so unbelievably intertwined.
100%.
Um, Mimi, thank you so much for coming on. This flew by. Where can all of our listeners find you, find activation, social, all the places?
Absolutely. Well, if anyone listening wants to try this new type of audio that we've been talking about, activations, you can try it for 2 weeks free on Elizabeth's special link. Elizabeth's special link. And that is activations.com/TWP. And go to the website to sign up, not the App Store, because we can't offer discounts on the App Store. So you can only get the discount on the website. There's a 2 week free trial and an insanely big discount on a yearly subscription. So I would urge you just to take advantage of the free trial. We have a money back guarantee. So even if you forget to cancel, you can always get your money back. Just know that 2 weeks is a very good amount of time to feel a shift. And that's why we wanted to do an extended free trial, because I wanted to convince you. When you try that, I want to convince you with how you feel, with the differences you're feeling in your life, before tying anyone in. So go take advantage of the 2 weeks free. Go to the website, activations.com/TWP. And you can also see Elizabeth's favorites on the website. I know we'll have the list of your favorites on there. There are so many activations in the app. Just play them in your everyday moments, 2, 3, 4 times a week. Just start listening to it in the background and you're gonna feel different. You're going to. So that's where you can go take advantage of that trial. And then if you want to check me out, I'm on Instagram sometimes, at Mimi Bouchard. And my book is Activate Your Future Self. It's on Amazon, wherever you buy books. I'm pretty sure it's on sale on Amazon right now. The publishers always randomly do sales. So you can pick that up. And that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on, Mimi. We'll have to connect next time you're in New York. I know you're a little far
Yes.
away right now, but
Why did I say LA? I thought you were in LA. No, you're in New York.
oh,
Okay. Makes
you
sense.
would you would think that because of the Dear Media
Yeah, yeah,
thing,
yeah.
but yeah,
I love
I'm
that.
in New York,
I'll
so
definitely let you know when I'm in New York. I'd love to see
please.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.